hypocrite or to look at how badly everyone else is doing, and there's plenty of us to be talking about with that. But I would really like to encourage some self-reflexivity in terms of the language that we use. If I can say we as a, don't even know what we'd call ourselves, but a broad, collection of radical feminists, lesbians, gay men, gender critical, whoever. Because I did notice, and so I guess this question goes to all the panel, in terms of the presentations, which I thought were brilliant, all of them, I noticed language such as gender identity extremists, and this is something I see a lot. And is there such a thing as a gender identity moderate? I don't think there is. And I think that by using this word extremist, which I see a lot in the blogs and the media pieces, it's trying to separate out, oh, there are these nice trans over here who just want to, they always seem to just want to go to the local shop they just live in a village and just want to go to the shop. They still want to do that with everyone pretending that they're women. So I think this use of the word extremist is one of these weasel words to be very careful of. And if we say gender identity extremist, we're implying that there isn't a position where a man can pretend he's a woman, and that is not a thoroughly extreme position. So I just want to be careful. I also noticed people on the panel using terms like Tara Wolf, Maria McLachlan she was not assaulted by a trans woman, any kind of woman, she was assaulted by a man. And if we call this man a trans woman, we are masking the fact that he is a man. Yes. And so anyway, sorry, that's quite and I heard someone else saying the term trans people, which is reinforcing the notion that there is such a thing as trans people. So that's my contribution.
Thank you. I did actually say trans woman who was a male who was forced to be called a female. I think it's unwise to try and school people on this panel on what language we should use. I certainly will use language I feel comfortable with, and I will carry on doing so. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with Lucy. Okay, so there are lots of things here. One is the claim that there's no distinction between people who are committed to trans ideology and people who transition. And then there is the claim that we all must subscribe to your interpretation and use the language that you think is correct. So the first thing I want to say is, I'm no more fond of coerced language from people on our side than I am from coerced language from people on the other side. And you have a particular ontological position. I respect your position. I respect that that is a position that people hold. I don't think it's incoherent. I also think there are other people in this fight who do not hold the same ontological position as you. And I think the line that we need to draw is to do with the political recognition and the political erasure of sex and the impact of that on women and on homosexuals and on young children. That's what holds this coalition together. We don't all agree with each other. We don't all have the same ontological beliefs. We don't all need to go up to trans people and say, you're a man. And we don't need to police people and tell them that they are not doing it correctly if they don't do that. Right? So Julia, yes, you have said that. Okay, so what are you saying? And are you suggesting that those of us who don't hold the same position are not reflective, that we have not considered the ontology? Sure, it does. I agree with you. It does, and some of us have considered it and come to a different decision.
Yeah, I think this is unfortunate, isn't it? I'm actually in favour of building bridges. I'm actually in favour of promoting dialogue. And I would like to remind everybody that LGB Alliance was founded after a very, very long period of trying to establish dialogue with Stonewall. It was that lack of dialogue that meant that we felt we had to start LGB Alliance. Let us not make dialogue more difficult than it has to be. Does anybody, I think we should perhaps wrap up here unless somebody else has something really, but Rob?
With regard to language, I'd just like to make 2 points. I haven't used the word gender in my writing for 25 years. So if you mean sex, say sex. So when you're using phrases like gender pay gap, gender equality, etc., rethink that. The other is, I see different language being used, trans women with a space in between, trans women as one word. I understand, my own position is I think if you use trans and women together, you're making a major concession, because the argument is then made, well, that's like black women, so therefore you're racist. I found a good legal precedent. It's in the new Act in Scotland on hate crime and hate speech. And it's a defined term, it's a term used in the Act, male to female transgender person, female to male transgender person. And that's what I use. It's respectful and it's accurate.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. I'm very sorry if you had questions which weren't answered, but perhaps you will be able to ask them to the people that you meet. Thanks, everybody, for your participation. Fantastic panel.